Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday, everyone. How you guys doing out there? Hi, Nez. How are you? Make sure IG is on today. That's right. How you guys doing? How you doing, Inez? Happy Thursday. Beautiful afternoon. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for jumping on here, girl, to get me started. I love it. Thank you. All right. Hi, Teresa Vernon. Thank you, guys. All right, so today we want to talk about what to do if you didn't meet the tax deadline. I'm Akiba. Thank you for jumping in here. Yes, yes, yes. Happy Friday Eve. That's right, Inez. I saw that post. It says Happy Friday Eve. This is not Thursday. This is Friday Eve. I love it. So you're looking forward to Friday evening after this Thursday. Okay, so hi, Makiba. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you. You guys hit like and share on this video and get some people on board here. We want to talk about what to do if you didn't get to file your taxes on time by the tax deadline. Everybody needs to know this information. A lot of people goes into a panic mode, so we want to talk to them about it. I'm sure you have some friends, family that can use this information if you had already filed your taxes, but it's good information for you to know so you can pass it on as well. Okay, so if we know something, we can always tell someone and give them that insight. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is what to do if you didn't get your taxes filed on time. The October 15th, of course, was the tax extension deadline for the people who didn't file their taxes by the due date. And those that have gotten an extension, October 15th was the deadline for that extension for you to file those taxes. So we want to talk about things that if you didn't get your taxes filed on time, guys, we want to talk about what you need to do to prepare to get them done. We want to advise you of what those deadlines are, and then how to avoid additional interest and penalty, the consequences of not filing those taxes, which is what we want to talk about now. Some people, again, like I said, filing taxes becomes very, very stressful. People have to get information to file these taxes. Some people is just panicking because they may owe taxes. They don't always know if they do. And so there's a lot that goes through, a lot of emotional distress in filing these taxes. And what we try to do is make it easy for you so you don't have to stress about it. And of course, if you missed the tax deadline, I've got people calling, panicking about, oh my God, I missed the deadline. Wasn't aware that it was October 15th. So point number one today, what I want you guys to be aware of is that everyone does not have a filing requirement. First and foremost, even though you hear it, file your taxes, even if you may have worked a job last year, whatever, and maybe you haven't earned as much money, there's a wage income limitation that requires you to file a tax return. So what you want to do is check and make sure you don't have to file a tax return, because maybe you're panicking for no reason. You may not even have a filing requirement. If you're only getting, let's say, Social Security income only, you may not have to file a tax return. If you are making less than the standard deduction, you may not have to file a tax return. There's a lot of reasons that you may not even have to file a tax return. So before you get into panic mode and you miss the tax deadline, guys, find out whether or not you should, you even have to file a tax return. So it might not be that you have to file it. Again, for those people who are getting a refund, if you're getting a refund, again, it's not really a major situation. It's just you not getting your money back early. However, there's no interest and penalty if you are getting a refund. So you don't need to panic if you didn't file and you are one of those who always get a refund. Unless something drastically changed with your income, you may not owe any money. The government owe you money. So there won't be any interest or penalty there. Of course, they're not going to pay you interest on your money if they withheld that money and they still have it. So there's reasons that you may not even have to go into panic mode, but we want to talk about the reasons that if you owe taxes, we'll talk about 3 things that you need to file them, when you need to file them, and how to avoid additional interest and penalty. All right, so I want to welcome all you guys on here. I am Paul. How are you doing? Thanks for jumping on. Okay, we are in October, and not what's that? And not a refund yet? Oh yeah, that is not common, girl. That's not common. There's a lot of folks who have not gotten their refunds yet. The IRS, again, is still behind. She says she filed since February. They're still behind in processing returns. And we had a session, Ann, about why they were so behind, because they had truckloads of 2019 returns, and some of those were manual returns that they had to input, so they were behind on processing those. all the stuff about the new stimulus, all the stuff about the new laws, all the stuff about the child tax credit. There were so many things that the department had to put in place. So they are just desperately behind on a lot of processing. And yes, you are absolutely right. There's a lot of folks who has not even gotten their refund yet. So we had a whole session on this. So hopefully, I mean, this is October. Hopefully before the year is out, they'll get caught up in this stuff and they'll at least get the 2020 returns processed. So thank you for jumping on and share this information. All the people over here on IG, how are you guys doing? Thanks for jumping in. Yvonne Jeffries, thank you. Lorna Smith, thanks for jumping on. Laverne Smith, thanks for jumping on. First point today, guys, what you need to prepare to file your taxes. And again, don't get into panic mode. First thing you want to do is just let's look for all of your income information. If you haven't filed these taxes, make sure you have all your income information, because the income is super important. This is the reason that you may or may not have to file a tax return. So look for things like your W-2 wages to see what you have gotten there. Look for all of the income that you may have gotten. If you're self-employed, look for those 1099 income. If you had unemployment, there's the unemployment form that you get from the EDD website. If you don't know where that form is, you can still go on the EDD website and get that form. Get all of your income information. If you were self-employed, they may have given you a 1099 miscellaneous form, a 1099 NEC form. Look for those forms. If you have interest in the bank, if you had made some investment, there's dividend forms. Look for all of your income information, guys. And you would need that first and foremost to get your taxes filed. And then also too, if you are not able to put your hands on those things, you can also contact the IRS and get you a transcript of your income information. You can get a whole transcript and it will show you everything that everyone have paid you. So there's no need to panic again if you cannot find your documents, because sometimes people doesn't file because they can't find your documents. If you can't file your documents, your income document, guys, go to the IRS website, make you an account, or you can even call. Get a transcript of all your income that was given to you, whether it's interest, dividend, 1099 information, W-2. Most of all, a lot of people forget this one, gambling income too. Don't forget that. Some people have this gambling income. They totally forget about it because it doesn't seem like much. But all your income information, again, if you don't have that stuff, if you can't put your hands on it, which is one of the reasons some people haven't filed your taxes, you can get a transcript of all of your income paid to you from the IRS website. Create an account. You can pull your own transcript of income received, and you will need that to get your taxes. Everything else, obviously your personal, independent, spouses, information, date of birth, and social security numbers. Of course, you have those things. And if you have kids that are going to childcare, daycare, you can go ahead and get those things from them. So those are documents mainly that you would need to get your taxes filed. So if the reason you haven't filed is because you can't put your hands on your information, first and foremost, get the income stuff from the IRS website, get that transcript. Okay, so that's the first point today about preparing to file your taxes. And again, people are going into a panic mode half the time because they can't find the documents they need to get their taxes filed. All right, so that's the first point. Hi, Karen, thanks for jumping in. All right, good to see you. Second point today, guys, knowing when to file. I want to talk about the tax deadline. Most people get this all confused. And if you are an individual, personal taxes are due on April 15th. Now that 15th deadline will change if it's on the weekend. If it's a Saturday or Sunday, it's probably due the following Monday. But April 15th for your personal taxes, guys, that's the deadline. Again, if you are not able to file, then there is a 6-month extension that you get. And the 6-month extension take you to October 15th. That's why we had the October 15th extension deadline, right? So that's the tax deadline if you're personal. If you are self-employed, sole proprietor, you must file your business return with your personal return. A lot of people get this confused. File your sole proprietor business taxes. It's filed with your personal and your Schedule C. That return is due April 15th. If you extend it, it's all in one return on your personal. You will have that extension to October 15th. That's when you should file, guys. So make notes of what applies to you and when you should file so you can prepare next year, guys. Again, this is October, right? Before you know it, it's after Christmas, and then it's time for us to file these taxes again. So we want to be prepared. We want to get ahead of the 8 ball this time, right? So then if you are a S corporation, LLC or partnership, guys, those returns are due March 15th. So as soon as the year starts, you got to get all that stuff together, get all your accounting done, get all your income and deductions together. You got to get that filed by March the 15th. If not, get an extension. It will take you to September 15th. Let's just plan ahead so we can be ahead of this game. And then if you are a regular C corporation, that return is due on April 15th. Again, if there's an extension there, it goes to October 15th. Make a note of what applies to you. Stay ahead of this game and try to get your taxes. That's one less stress that you have to worry about getting your taxes filed on time. All right. And then if you have a nonprofit too, that's due 5 months after the end of the year. So if your nonprofit ends in December, that's a May. And if there's a 6 month extension, that is November. So note all the things that apply to you and then keep track of that, put it in your file and make sure that you are on top of it. Okay. So that's the second point today, knowing when to file. All right, so keep asking the question, can you file LLC on your individual return? Okay, so that's a good question, Makiba. Your LLC, if it's a single member LLC, now if it's a single member LLC, meaning there's no one else in this LLC but you, it is filed with your personal return for the federal government purposes. So the federal government does not recognize a single member LLC as a separate business entity, and it is filed on your personal return on your Schedule C. If it's a California LLC, you have to file your California 568, which is the LLC form with the state of California. But it's all for the feds, it's filed with your personal return. So that's an excellent question. People are always confused about that one. Thanks for asking that. All right, let's go to point number 3 today, guys. The third point today is how to avoid additional tax and penalties. Now, I want you guys to listen to this very carefully because everybody gets this confused. You must pay your taxes in advance, right? You must pay your taxes in advance. Now, people who are working that are employed, when you get your wages or your salary, if you notice, the taxes are taken out when you get paid, correct? So when you are self-employed, guys, if you have a business, operating a business, you're self-employed, a sole proprietor, you should be paying your taxes in advance. This is the reason why you make estimated tax payments, right? You make estimated tax payments in April, June, September, and January. The reason for that is you got to pay your taxes in advance. Now, I get this all the time. Someone will file their tax return, sole proprietor, and they will pay their taxes when they file at the end of the year. Then they will get a late payment penalty. And they want to know why. I filed my taxes on time. Why am I getting this penalty? Well, you have already been late paying your taxes. If you didn't pay it all year, if you made no estimated taxes, if you only pay those taxes when you file, your tax payment is already considered late. So you get a late payment penalty, not a late filing penalty, but you get a late payment penalty. You know, and I guess this is a little confusing for a lot of folks. They want to know why they still get a penalty. It's a penalty. You get it for late payment if you don't pay in advance. So if you're sole proprietor, self-employed, guys, a business, make estimated payment as you go along. It will cut down on those penalties. And even if you get an extension of time to file, it's not an extension of time to pay. You will still get a late payment penalty. Hope you guys make a note of that. I hope that was clear. All right. So, hey, Rob, thanks for jumping on here. Let's see. Can you still, what's this? Can you still, all right, I'm not sure why I'm not seeing that over here. The deadline without a penalty. No, if you miss the deadline, I'm not sure what that word is, but if you miss the deadline, there's no other deadline. There's no other deadline. You will still get a penalty if you owe taxes. And one of the things, guys, please don't do this. Don't not file them because you missed the deadline. Okay, so you don't want to not file your taxes because you missed the deadline. What happens is, to avoid additional penalty, which is the third point we're making here today, make sure you file them as quick as possible. So you want to file those taxes today, if possible, so you will avoid additional penalty, because the penalty is compounding by the days and the time it takes for you to file. Each one of those days, each one of those months, it is compounded. So that's to avoid additional penalties. You want to file it as soon as possible. Okay, so make sure that you file your taxes right away if you missed the deadline, to avoid additional penalty. Let's see what else is up here. can you still amend after the deadline? Oh, can you still amend? Is that what that word is? Yeah, you can amend the taxes. Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, if it's filed on time and you amend the return, you're not considered late. So if that's the question, I believe you won't have a late filing penalty if you file it on time and then you amend it later. So as a matter of fact, that's recommended. If you don't have all your documents and you need to file on time, get the return in, then you go back and you can adjust it and you'll be just fine. Okay, so it won't be considered late. Perfect way to avoid additional late payment and late filing penalty. That's the one. This is very heavy, a late filing penalty. You do not want to have that if possible. Again, if you don't have your documents in time, file a return with what you got, correct it later, amend it, and you will still be considered filing on time. All right. So guys, that is my 3 points today. Again, we're talking about what to do if you didn't file your taxes. Don't panic. Thanks for asking that question, Rob. Don't panic, guys. You may not want to have a filing requirement. Let's go back over this. You may not have a filing requirement, so you want to check and see if all of your income information even require you to file. It doesn't mean that you didn't make any money. You may have gotten your Social Security. You may not have made enough money, less than the standard required to file the taxes. So you may not even have to file a tax return. So you want to check that first before you go into panic mode. So check that first, see if you have to file. If not, prepare your documents that you need for filing all the income stuff, right? Very important. If you cannot find your W-2, 1099s, mortgage statement, any of this stuff, create an account on the IRS website, get you a transcript of your income, wage and income transcript, it's called, and it will give you everything, everyone who have paid you. You don't have to look for that piece of form, paper, that W-2 or 1099 or any of that stuff. You don't have to look for any of that. Just go on there and get a whole list of everything that's been paid to you. We can use that and get those taxes filed, right? Hey, Bernetta, thanks for jumping on here. All right, so that's how you can get all your income information. Don't start searching for all that stuff and be, just all up in arms because you cannot find it, right? So get that list from the IRS. That's the first point, what you need to file. All of your dependents and spouses information, of course, you know that info, and deductions, and any of your write-off. You just want to compile that information. If it's a business, all your business related expenses, make a list of that stuff, get that in as soon as possible. Thank you guys for jumping over here on IG. Yes. Second point, guys, knowing when to file. If you're an individual, make sure that you keep this in mind, the April 15th deadline. And if you cannot get your stuff in by then, get an extension, file an extension, which will give you 6 months to October 15th. That's the deadline that just passed. So that's when you need to file. If you're a sole proprietor, a lot of us have a sole proprietor business. Those sole proprietor business also will be filed with your personal, and that's due April 15th. And again, that dates will change if it's on a weekend. And 6 months extension is October 15th. That's the last deadline. There's no more extension. Okay. LLCs, S corporations, partnerships, LLC with more than one person, partnership, sole proprietor, a partnership and S corporation, those are due on March the 15th. With an extension, it is September. Make notes of which one of these businesses that you do have. And if you have a regular corporation business, that is due April 15th. And the deadline for the extension is October 15th if you get one of those, okay? And you must apply for the extension, guys. That's a separate thing you must do. Always have to apply for the extension. All right, so that's the second point today, knowing when to file. And the third point, how to avoid additional interest and penalty, is to, one, pay your estimated taxes, to file the taxes as soon as possible. Interest and penalty is compounded by the months, by the days. Do it as soon as possible. And this is what you want to do. Pay what you can if you owe. If you can't pay it all, just pay as much as you can, because it will cut down on the amount of interest that you will have to pay in the end. So pay as much as you can. File the taxes as soon as possible. Get them filed today. File them as soon as possible. But don't do this. Oh, I missed the deadline. Can I file them all next week? I get this too. Can I file all my taxes next year when it's time to file again? No, that's not what you want to do. You want to get it in as soon as possible to avoid additional interest and penalty. Okay. So that's it, guys. So the bottom line here, get the taxes filed as soon as possible. Get it behind you, because having it hanging out there is very, very stressful. It's stressful just to file them, and stressful when you don't file them on time if you have a filing requirement. Okay, so that's it today for this topic here. Let's see, Tiff Taylor, thanks for jumping on here. Got it, Proby. All right. Got it. Got it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you guys all over here on IG. Thanks again for jumping in. You guys hit like and share on this video. Everybody needs to get this information. Again, this is one less thing we have to worry about. It's a major requirement. And let's see. Thanks, Elaine. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Appreciate you, Margie, for always jumping on here. You guys for always sharing. I really appreciate you guys. And get this information out there so we can all, get on the same page, get the stacks filing behind us, prepare for the next one, knock it out, and move on so we can focus on doing what? Making more money, right? This is okay, making more money. All right, so hit like and share on this video, guys. I'll see you guys back here next week, Tuesday. And of course, keep your alarm on, your notification on. Thanks for jumping in here. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we have some great information to share with you guys. Really do appreciate it. And thanks for all you guys for jumping on here. You guys have a wonderful Thursday and a magnificent weekend. I'll see you guys back here next week. Okay, so you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.